Hey there, everyone, and welcome to Histories Uncharted. I am your host, Shanna, and with me, as always, is my amazing co-host, Cecilia.
Hey, everybody. How are you doing?
You guys are probably going to think that that's just like a recording over and over again, and I might need to shake up our intros one day.
You know, you might. It's funny that you were thinking about that because I was thinking about that the other day, and I was in the room, and I'm like, what would she introduce me as? Because, we're big on alliteration, right?
Crazy.
My co-host, Cannibal Cecilia. And that was the first thought that came to my brain. Oh my gosh, are we here to record a Christmas episode?
We are. I was going to say, just in case everyone was following along, you should know by now that we are here to talk about Christmas and super fun Christmas facts and trivia. This is part 2 to the trivia extravaganza.
It is most exciting. So from part 1, I now have my kid totally on board with putting some carrot sticks and some celery sticks and some pretzels into his stocking for the reindeer.
He thinks that the reindeer will enjoy pretzels?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, you don't know what they like.
Salty.
One of the movies, wasn't it Candy Canes? Wasn't it Christmas Chronicles or some such?
Could be Christmas Chronicles.
One of those movies, it was that they like to eat candy canes.
Yeah. We skipped that last year.
Candy Canes? Or
no,
the Chronicles?
The Christmas Chronicles. We watched it, it hasn't been out terribly long.
Well, it depends on which one. The first one has. I think the second one... How many are there? Isn't it a third one now?
The first one? I think the first one is 4 years. I think it was a 2020
It's
thing.
Not that new, is it?
I think so, yeah. No, it is.
We have the
Chronicles
Google
is a new
machine,
one.
but I don't care that much.
Golly. Well, it's fun to debate like it's the 1990s.
Maybe that's why I do. We sit there and like we said in a previous episode, if it's not in the whatever Britannica Encyclopedia Britannica, we don't know. I don't care. I still feel that way. The Google machine is literally 2 inches from me and I won't even look.
Oh my gosh. Well, holy cowbells. 2018. Christmas Chronicles is 2018.
All right. And when did number 2 come out?
Well, that would have been convenient, wouldn't it?
And is there a 3? Dun, dun, dun.
Come
on, Google machine.
2020 was for the Christmas Chronicles too, so probably that's what I remembered.
Don't worry, folks. I remembered none of it. Except for apparently the Candy Canes, if that is even the right movie.
There is no confirmed Christmas Chronicles 3. But you can YouTube... We're on a podcast.
We are. Oh my gosh. Okay.
I could chit chat about that, but let's not.
As you can tell, we are very familiar with just sitting and prattling and rambling about really weird stuff that we don't even realize we have headphones on. So we're going to start with Saturnalia, all the way back to the beginning. This is an annual pagan tradition of celebrating Saturn. This is a wild and crazy festival in the middle of December, generally December 17th through the 23rd. So this is pre-Christian. This is not December 25th.
Yeah. When was this commonly celebrated?
Oh, this is ancient Rome.
Cool.
Yeah, so up in, in ancient Roman times.
In those ancient Roman times?
Yeah. Often in ancient Roman times, they looked down on people for drinking and gambling. It says illegal gambling. Does that mean that there was legal gambling that was fine?
Oh, no.
Probably. Because if they can control it and make money off of it, it's fine. But if it's illegal gambling, they're not getting their cut.
Truly. It's like in Vegas with the guys that are trying to do those cards on not the casino property, but maybe it's the property.
Right.
Yeah.
Thems.
The ones where you always a loser. Yeah.
Well, maybe you were here too, but you were too drunk to care. Same thing with Vegas, I guess. So normally they look down on you for drinking and illegal gambling, but during Saturnalia, that's what you did. You got drunk, you gambled, everything was relaxed, dress codes, because normally what you wore designated your status, maybe even your vocation, your career, your maidenhood, all sorts of things.
Right, and this was specific styles of robes, specific
colors,
styles of pleating, and accoutrements, baubles, and fun things that were added on.
Yeah, if the sash went on the left or the right or whatever signified your political political party, you know, all sorts of different things.
They were super into coded dressing, which I think is really, I don't know, it's fun. I like it.
But during Saturnalia, there are no rules. It's often a time where things are turned upside down. Twelfth Night and stuff kind of keeps this tradition alive in Europe, in medieval Europe, where the slaves are the masters and the masters are the slaves for just this period of time, and you wear crazy clothes and you wear fun things. Sometimes slaves would even talk back to their masters, apparently. People would often exchange gifts, anything from really, really small to really, really big. This is kind of the origin of like the Secret Santa, where everyone would bring gifts and then they're just randomly given out.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
I love Secret Santas. Those are super fun.
I know I'm a fuddy-duddy. I am told this a lot, especially at work, and that's fine. But I don't appreciate all of the competition and like the white elephant shenanigans and dirtiness. I think we should just have like a big pile of presents and everyone just picks one and you just get what you get and you don't pitch a fit, I guess. But the swipping and the swapping and the stuff, it's not fun for me.
You know, I could super appreciate that. I think the 2 times that I did play that, it was always competitive.
Right.
And spiteful, and then they would like laugh and poke fun at you because you got the lamest gift out of everybody. It was
Which I
like
always
such
did.
a weird, mean-spirited game, as opposed to like, I don't know, everybody getting gag gifts,
Right,
you know,
or something, fun things, silly things.
that.
Right. So yeah, that was Saturnalia. Woot woot.
I love that. Origins of our Secret Santa.
I like that they're just randomly given out, not assigned.
Right. I love that there's a lot of drinking. There's, I recall there being like a lot of naughty behavior that happens.
I think that's just every festival. Once you get alcohol involved, and then there's feasting, and there's people getting together, and there's a relaxation in the societal rules, then what else do you think happens to say? I mean, I don't think we need to. We know what happened.
This is just festival vibes.
These were
Drugs
people
and alcohol, guys.
that literally kept urns and bowls at their feast tables so that when they got full, they could vomit so that they could consume more. They also laid back on couches, had huge orgies, and were the originators of the key parties. I like a good key party.
I mean, that sounds a little excessive. The whole throwing up so you can eat more.
Yeah.
That's inappropriate. Guys.
It was Hunger Games, the Capitol. They took that inspiration from the ancient Romans, where they would feast so much then they would vomit, and so they could eat more. So because there were so many different things to try and so many things.
So much excess.
So much excess. Yeah. Well, there are literally people like 100 feet away starving to death or whatever.
Sounds very Roman.
Yeah. All right. Because trivia tends to follow my brain. We are now going to talk about hiding your brooms. In Norway, it is tradition to hide all of your brooms in your house to keep them away from the evil spirits or witches that like to take them on Christmas Eve, and then they go about town causing havoc. What do they do? Sweeping things, hitting things,
How much trouble can you get into with a broom?
With a broom? Is this mops?
I don't know.
Just brooms?
I mean, really, they just...
Where do Swiffers lie in this?
I don't know. Hocus Pocus would have us believe that 2 Roombas are acceptable.
That is correct. The first one had a vacuum.
Uh-huh.
You're right.
So, I mean, I'm with it. And honestly, they look like they're having the best time ever. Have you ever seen a picture of a witch on a broom with her head back?
She's always like,
Exactly.
Like, how exciting.
It looks like she's having the greatest time ever. Norway, I think you've got it wrong.
Let him go play with the brooms.
For real.
Go play.
At least they're not wreaking havoc on your home.
No, they take it out about town.
On the town.
Yep, and causing havoc about town.
Some public property damage.
Oh, yeah, I'm also not a fan of that because someone has
Yeah.
to be accountable.
Maybe it's because you hid them. They're upset. And if we just stopped hiding them, if we just sad them out with like treats or cookies like we do for frickin' Santa Claus.
Oh, let's have the
maybe-
witches get candy too, but isn't that now Halloween?
Maybe we did accommodate.
We just made it a little bit earlier and
All right.
warmer.
Well,
I don't know. So that's why we're going to stick with trick-or-treating, I guess. There are such a thing in the world as mummers, all right? This is in Europe, where folks dress up in costumes. They go from door to door performing songs or acting out small plays in exchange for small treats. I think we kind of had that in one of our podcasts where they like sing songs or have a contest with the people and then they exchange treats or come in and have drinks or whatever.
I like the idea of like the little plays and stuff. You open the door and you get like a little play. The caroling seems so weird because like they're staring at you and you're staring at them, and it's like they're singing and their mouths are open and it's like
I like the lewd poetry, but I'm really intrigued that you got really weirded out that people's mouths open when they sing. Like, what else are they supposed to do with their mouths? What do you mean open?
I understand that, but
You're looking at me while does that mean that you're thinking of my open mouth while we're talking?
Singing. Talking is entirely different. Have you seen people singing with their mouth? Like, look at Ariana, Miss Grande, okay? Look at her with her mouth. Like, have you seen, it's like you can see the inside of it. Celine Dion, Gwen Stefani, Taylor Swift.
So is this a women's problem, like, not a men's problem? Because you're only listing ladies. I'm sorry, people, I'm dying. Because I've known this woman for like 15 years almost, and she's just now saying that the inside of people's mouths freaks her out. How do you watch the Muppets?
They're not human mouths. I don't know, and I guess
the line,
it
folks.
tends
There's the
to
line.
be like they don't frequently. This is a problem with our society in general and how we portray women and how we portray men. One, we don't ever put a man with a microphone and his huge mouth gaping open. That is a very feminine way of positioning a man. So we don't generally show them that way.
Okay.
And a lot of men don't sing that way. Female singers do. I'm not saying that all don't, like Freddie Mercury, like, come on, like David Bowie. I have seen it is problematic for them as well. But we tend to show women this way a lot.
I guess I have never noticed, and now all I want to do is Google videos of women singing to see how far down their throats I can sing.
Yes, but like for reals, that's just how they sing. The belters, the Christina Aguileras,
Mariah Carey's.
Open your mouth so wide to get those notes.
You do.
But it just
get you, huh?
It's really creepy.
I just find it so funny. I've known you for so long, and you're a weird one, Mrs. Cece.
Yes. Yeah. I don't know. I don't let my outside voice out a lot.
I will cover my mouth now when I sing.
No, it's okay. Because I generally just don't look anymore. But it's hard not to look when it's literally just a face and a microphone and it screaming into it. But even the inside of men's mouths bother me too.
We don't discriminate here. We don't appreciate anybody's mouths.
Mouths in general.
Yeah. Well, we're going to go back to mummers here. And since we like origins, here's mimes, because mimes are everyone's favorite thing in the world. In some festivals, these creepy-ass people would walk around in silence, holding out bags, expecting food or drinks. And this is mime. Big surprise. The act was very Catholic, and Protestants did not appreciate it. Apparently, there's the Philadelphia mummers, who still put on an annual parade every New Year's Day, and really up to now have about 15,000 participants, and this has been going on since the 1900s. So we all know that people love a parade.
I love that. And they literally so in that parade, do they walk around and
probably not. I don't know. You'd have to Google what the Philadelphia mummers do. I'm sure it's a normal parade. I don't know if any of you listeners know by now, but I don't really do what most humans do, and I don't like a parade. Another super fun thing. This is one of the things that just started this Christmas trivia episode to begin with. And this is Cagotio. And I need everyone to perk up, put your coffees down, turn up your volume, because this is Cagotio. And this is in Catalonia, Spain. Cagotio means pooping log, or more politely, Tio de Nadal, the Christmas log. This is a small wooden log with a smiley face painted on one side of it, and then the side with the smiley face is like propped up on sticks, and then you cover the back half with a cloth or whatever. And then, starting the Feast of Immaculate Conception on December 8th, honestly, you do this whenever you want because it's important. Children are expected to feed little treats, and they leave small bites, like they'll leave a cookie next to the little log, or they'll leave little bites of bread or whatever. And then, a lot like the Santa tradition, every night the parents would remove the little treaties, and it would be like the log had eaten them.
Right.
All of these days leading up till Christmas, the kiddos are feeding the log treats. And then on Christmas Eve, okay, everyone gathers around and they sing traditional songs to the log while they are beating it with sticks to help its constipation along so it can poop out yummy treats for all the boys and girls. And so the little kids are smacking it with their sticks. And what has happened is, before this is going on, the parents have hidden a whole bunch of treats underneath the cloth on the back. So you beat the constipation out of it, and then you lift the cloth, and then there is a pile of cookies and snacks and fruits and nuts, and you're like, yay, the pooping log has provided. Yay.
I love that you literally beat
the snack poops.
the snack poops out of him. I don't understand why we went that way. Why we had to beat the poor log to get the constipation out. I
don't know. But I just want everyone to know that it comes with a song. And I don't know the beat, so I'm going to say it like a poem. But this brings so much joy to my heart when I found out that the Christmas pooping log. So here we go. Poop, T.O., hazelnuts and nougat, pea white wine. Do not poop herrings. They are too salty. Poop nougats. They taste better. Poop, T.O., almonds and nougats, and if you don't want to poop, I will hit you with a stick. Poop, T.O. I am in love. And if anybody Googles this, please do, because they have the cutest, most adorable little faces. And I am now officially making a pooping log, Christmas pooping log, that is my new Christmas tradition that I'm going to do this year.
Yeah. The faces are very cutesy. They remind me
are.
of the faces that are on, like, you remember the little, like, rodeo dial phones we used to get as kids?
Yeah.
Yeah, the little faces on there. Some of the ones that I saw on the internet had really cute, adorable faces.
They are adorable. So I hope everyone enjoys a Christmas pooping log.
Yes.
Give it a couple treats and a couple smacks for me this Christmas, everyone, and enjoy.
I love that one.
I just want everyone to know that the Yule goat is a very traditional Christmas European, Scandinavian symbol. It is from Germanic paganism, and it's had a lot of different variants all throughout Scandinavian history. Its origins may be unclear, but there is a popular theory that it is connected to the Norse god Thor, who rides through the sky in a chariot drawn by goats. And if everyone has seen the Marvel movies, aren't they screaming goats?
Oh my god, I think that is the Marvel Thor movie.
It's a Thor
I feel
movie,
like
right?
Such a
Bad Thor fandom. The screaming goats, and I feel like that's what it's from, and that's just really hilarious because they're hilarious. So modern representations of the Yule goat are typically made out of straw, and there is a tradition that the last sheaf of grain from the harvest has magical properties. That very last bit from every harvest was then turned into the Yule goat, which is going to bring you good stuff.
That's just like the most magical thing ever.
Sweden, apparently he comes around to make sure that you did everything that you're supposed to do. So he's checking your list and making sure you did your list.
He's a list checker.
Yeah. I'm not real sure what your punishment is if you don't have all of your Yule preparations done.
Probably screams at you. But you're right. I just saw an image of the Thor and I recall they're
so funny. Sometimes they will make these little tiny Yule goats like out of wood, carving it out of wood. So apparently there used to be a popular tradition that you would carve a little Yule goat and then you would hide it somewhere in your neighbor's house. And then when they found it, let's see how long it took for them to find it. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And then once they find it, they had to go hide it in someone else's house and see how long it took for them to find it. So it was like a pranking thing of hiding the Yule goat.
You got that Yule goat. You've been goated.
You've been goated. I think nowadays people just put fish in your curtain rod.
Oh, that's effed up.
Yeah, so here they just put a little Yule goat. So it was a little game.
Oh my gosh. Listen,
I thought that was
if you
cute.
find a Yule goat in your house one day, guess you'll know where it came from.
Your neighbor. Your friendly neighbor.
Your friendly creepy neighbor.
I think this is one of the weirdest things and weirdest traditions. So I wanted to know why we did this, because it's gross. And that's mistletoe. Apparently, the Greeks have used this to cure everything from menstrual cramps to spleen disorders. And then Pliny the Elder, he's this Roman dude, very famous. He also said that it could be used against epilepsy, ulcers, and poisons. I don't know. Mistletoe tends to be a poison, so I don't know if it would help you.
Yeah, I wonder what that's all about.
Yeah. Maybe they had different mistletoe back then. You know how things kind of
Yeah, we breed it out.
change.
Yeah, for sure. That's
Who knows?
super curious. Way to go, mistletoe. Quite the history.
Yeah. It didn't start getting any of its romantic overtones until them Druids, ironically. Okay, so mistletoe blooms in the dead of winter, right? So it's that bright red and green against all of the white. And because of this, they considered it to be a sign of fertility and stuff,
Right.
obviously. So they began to administer it to humans and animals to help with fertility. So there's its romantic attachment. I found this little definition, and it's disgusting. Another reason why I really don't like mistletoe. So apparently, mistle thrush birds eat the plant's berries, digest the seed, and then poop out their droppings, and that's what helps the plants regenerate and germinate. The Germanic word for mistletoe literally means dung on a twig. Let's go make out under the dung on a twig, baby.
Hey.
Nothing says Christmas more like dung and twigs.
I guess.
Because there is no point in doing anything unless you're going to bring mythology into it. There are also references of mistletoe in Norse mythology. So apparently, Odin's son Baldur was prophesied to die. So his mom, Frigg, she was the goddess of love. She went all around the world to all of the animals and all of the plants and asked them, don't be part of my son's death. Don't kill him. Like all the snakes, don't bite him, and don't let the poisons kill him and stuff like that. And they all agreed because she's the goddess. So of course you agree.
Yeah. You're Frigg, man.
You're Frigg, of course. Chick, I'm not going to kill your son. You'll do something to me. Turn me into something.
Right?
But Frigg overlooked the unassuming mistletoe and didn't really think that it could be dangerous. So that pesky god Loki
Yeah.
made an arrow from the plant and then used that to kill Baldur. So Baldur ended up dying. Anyway, because of the mistletoe.
What the heck, mistletoe?
Yeah. Apparently, in one version, the gods are able to resurrect poor Baldur. Delighted, Frigg declared mistletoe a symbol of love and vowed to plant a kiss on all those who passed beneath it. So that could be, I think that might have come maybe post. I don't know.
Yeah, probably.
Who knows? You never know when these things really start becoming part of the myth.
People who were putting little mistletoe bundles together trying to sell them to make a living created that myth right there.
Yeah, like myths and prophecies, I always think that they're afterwards to explain or justify or whatever. Yeah. So apparently it became attached to Christmas in the 18th century, and England started the naughty kissing tradition. Servants apparently would steal a kiss from any woman caught standing under the mistletoe, and refusing was viewed as bad luck. So weird. Once again, we have another tradition where a woman is forced to acquiesce sexually to a man and will literally be cursed if she doesn't.
Sounds like Christmas tradition to me.
It sure does. There's another tradition that merrymakers have to pluck a single berry from the mistletoe with each kiss, and then you stop kissing once all the berries are gone. You'd go through a lot of mistletoe.
For reals.
So,
What a waste of berries.
yeah. So that's mistletoe.
I've
Never really liked it, so if you ever catch me under it, I ain't kissing you.
Yeah, mistletoe's never
Thought it was
been,
creepy, man.
Yeah.
Oh, Tannenbaum. I don't know about you, man.
Yeah.
I love a Christmas tree. I love trees in general. Anyone that knows me, I love a tree. And then you put it in your house with lights and glitter, and I am here for it.
I am too.
I have a Christmas
trees
tree.
Are magical.
I have one in every room in my house.
Yeah, you do.
This does include my bathrooms.
Mm-hmm.
All of the bathrooms.
Every room, guys.
Every room. She's
sometimes multiple in one room.
Sometimes. I think I could only see one other than like the tree decorations.
Yeah. I think it depends on your definition of what constitutes
Ooh,
tree.
I love that you said that, because some of the first forms of trees that we're going to talk about aren't trees, but they're tree shaped, and I'm very excited to talk about all the different
Oh, I love that.
tree stuff. No one dies.
In my eclectic history of Christmas trees, we have definitely decorated some very non-traditional houseplants.
That's so cute.
As Christmas trees.
I love
For us and stuff. One year we brought in a tumbleweed. This was Christmas super poor in a trailer with the holes in the floor when we had first moved to California. I was 13. It was absolutely insane. I'm serious. We decorated a tumbleweed.
Yo, man. You do what you got to do to maintain that Christmas spirit and make it special for that 13-year-old kid.
Exactly.
That, your Santa's still going to come. You're still a loved, cherished little human, and you decorate that tumbleweed.
I think the most significant point I'm trying to make there is that there was always a tree involved in Christmas. Like that story with the little kids and the spider. At least they had a Christmas tree. There's no presents. There's no nothing. The spirit of Christmas is very dull, but at least they have the Christmas tree.
I feel you. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think there's ever been a Christmas that I have not had a tree.
Yeah. It's the epitome. It is.
Yeah.
the
Even if I didn't do anything else,
symbol
we
of
did the
Christmas.
tree. Yeah.
It isn't even Santa.
Nope.
It's the tree. There's no reason for Santa to deliver presents if you don't have a
You know,
tree.
you put your tree up first. We do. We put our tree up first,
Yeah?
and it goes down last.
You are correct.
Yeah.
That's how we do it too.
The tree.
It
Are you
is-
ready to learn about some tree
I really
nonsense?
am. They're just
All right.
the symbol of Christmas to me. I dig them.
I agree. And long before Christianity got into this game, humans like us have really dug plants and trees, and in particular to those long, dark, cold winter nights, those trees that remain green kind of held this special magical property. Like they watch everything else die and wither, and there's these evergreens that stay green year round. So they've had these special properties and stuff. So even during festivals back then in the winter, they would decorate pines and spruce and fir trees. Sometimes they would even take evergreen boughs and hang them over their doors or on their walls. So it kind of brought it inside. And we do the same thing with wreaths and garland. So, except ours is not typically real. Some people do buy real wreaths every year. I see them sold.
So expensive.
I think it's murder as well, so I don't participate.
Yeah.
I'd rather have a human corpse wreath than a tree wreath.
Ooh, girl. Hey. Maybe for Halloween you'll get one.
Oh my god, that is such a... Maybe we should buy a bunch of baby dolls and break up all of their pieces and make wreaths out of arms and legs.
That's terrifyingly creepy, and I want to do that.
I am so in love. We now have our next crafting project, folks.
All right.
You heard it here first. Did you know that in many countries they believe that evergreens would keep away witches, ghosts, evil spirits, and even illness?
Yeah.
Because it smells fresh, and again, it stays green. It doesn't appear to die, so it might have that protective, everlasting kind of property to it. Today is December 21st, the day that we are recording this.
Oh, happy day.
Happy day. And today is what is called the winter solstice. So, the winter solstice is the shortest day of the year. So many ancient people believed that the sun was a god and that winter came every year because the sun god became sick and weak. They celebrated during the solstice because it meant that the sun god would begin to get well again. The days would get longer, the plants would come back, and just knowing and seeing these evergreen boughs and seeing that they stayed green helped keep their spirits high and that hope that spring is coming, not all is lost through those really cold winter nights.
I think we see that same feeling reflected through many religions, many ways of practice, that same celebration of the season.
It is,
The
because
turning of the season.
humans have had to evolve their religion and their lives and their societal everything around the world that they live in. And every year the nights get long and the things get cold, and so we all have to figure out what that means
Yeah.
to us.
How we internalize.
Yeah.
And then express all of it.
The
It's with Christmas, guys.
Christmas. Ancient Egyptians didn't do Christmas, and their sun god was Ra. So he had the head of a hawk, and he wore a sun as a crown, right? So they thought at the solstice, even there, days got shorter, that he had gotten ill and now he's starting to recover from his illness. So the Egyptians would fill their homes with green palms and papyrus reeds. And this is the triumph over death and bringing life back and stuff like that. So that is the love of the evergreen tree.
I love that.
These Germans, man, they're like the originators of Christmas. They really are. Almost all of
Yeah.
our traditions started in Germany. But they like to celebrate, and we like to steal their traditions from them.
When they're good, you gotta share. Guys. It's sharing, not stealing, Shannon. It's the Christmas spirit.
An appropriation. But it's a Christmas tree that we appropriated around the 16th century when devout Christians brought decorated trees into their homes. And here's the pyramids of wood. Sometimes when they didn't do trees or didn't have that kind of lumber around or available, they would make these pyramids and then put boughs of evergreen or, decorate those little guys, and they would like put lighted candles and stuff on them, and those would be their little Christmas trees. And I thought that was really cute, and the pictures of them were really, really pretty. They're small and they'd sit on your table, and little baby Christmas tree.
I absolutely love that.
Yeah. So everyone knows Martin Luther, or should keep listening. We'll do an episode because he was really interesting.
Yeah, not King Jr., guys.
Oh, no. Martin Luther, the originator and splitter of the Catholic faith.
Indeedly.
Yes.
Shanna's history point is much further in the past than our...
The 60s is super too modern.
Yeah.
Unless we're talking about crazy foods, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, I tend to go way back. So 16th century Martin Luther, apparently he was the first that added lighted candles to a tree. There is a story that says, one night while walking home one cold winter evening, Luther was awed by the stars that were twinkling amidst the evergreens. So to recapture this scene for his family, he erected a tree in the middle of the room and then tied lighted candles to its branches. That sounds like
Dangerous.
a fire hazard.
I do find it funny that it's not an image that I see as much as an adult as I did when I was a kid with the candle lit trees.
Right.
Like, I just don't see that portrayed
No, I think
anymore.
they're trying to stop that image so people stop setting their houses on fire.
I agree. Wildly irresponsible.
Like
Luther.
space heaters and
Wildly.
lit candle trees. Poor fire departments.
For real.
My Lord. So we all know how fun those Puritans were. They were a barrel of laughs. They really didn't appreciate Christmas, as we, I think, have talked about before.
Mm-hmm.
So the Pilgrims' second governor, William Bradford, wrote that he tried hard to stamp out the pagan mockery in observance and penalized any frivolity he encountered.
What? A downer. He was super into fasting, I bet.
In 1659, the General Court of Massachusetts enacted a law making any observance of December 25th a penal offense.
What?
People were fined for hanging decorations.
Is this a Christmas Carol origin story?
No.
Kind of feels like it.
But I just want you to know that us Americans, man, you tell us we can't do something, what do?
We're going to do it.
We're going to do it. That's all. That's all we want to do.
Yeah.
We are obstinate people. We were like, you know what? You know what you're not taking away from us? Our Christmas tree.
I mean, come on, guys.
All right. So there were always rebels out there that really still had our Christmas trees. We have Christmas trees being cut for display purposes in the 1820s. Pennsylvania is a big, and again, it's the German communities.
Mm-hmm.
They're in Pennsylvania, but they're still the Germans. And they really kept the tree tradition alive up there. As early as 1747, again, Germans, the Moravians in Pennsylvania, again, remember we talked about sugar cookies with them. They had a community tree in the form of one of those big wooden pyramids and decorated with candles. And then as late as the 1840s, trees were seen as pagan symbols and not acceptable. But isn't that so weird that the Moravian Germans were like, no, it's cool, but everyone else was like, no, it's pagan?
It seems like it was a big part of their tradition.
Yeah. And they're like, you guys are silly. We're bringing it.
This is, yeah. I don't blame them. Way to go. I'm glad German immigrants brought it and made it, they helped it stay.
Exactly. I'm glad too, because, you know, we're big tree lovers. So I'm glad it stayed. Pyramid or either way, I'd have taken it. So in 1846, when there were cameras and pictures, Queen Victoria and Prince Albert were shown standing next to their Christmas tree. And of course, that made it become acceptable, as we have said before. Oh my God, this is the best, and I want every single one of you to go out and Google this right now. It is the funniest thing. In the 1880s, the very first artificial Christmas tree was made, obviously, in Germany. Let's not, be surprised here. But they made it out of goose feathers dyed green. Yeah, you need to goggle that one.
That sounds very 1880s.
It is the craziest thing ever. And, Europeans are sensible and reasonable, and their trees are generally, small, up to 4 feet tall, something like that. And then you bring it across the pond to us Americans, and we demand floor-to-ceiling extravaganzas in our households. Mm-hmm. The bigger the better, more lights, more ornaments, more awesomeness. So we like them bigger here in America than in most places of the world. They have much smaller trees. Americans decorate their trees mainly with ornaments that are homemade. German Americans would like to use apples, nuts, and marzipan cookies. I want some.
Right?
Popcorn was added to the tree's decoration, and you can dye them bright colors and even mix in berries and nuts. Again, my dog would destroy everything to get to that.
Good. My little kid fingers would have fiddle farted those little berries right off.
Messed with them. And
yeah, like a candy necklace that would have been.
Oh, that's super fun. Keeping the kids away from the tree. Hey, that's cool, because by the end of the Christmas season, you go to take everything down, and all the popcorn and berries and nuts are already gone. All there is just empty string.
Exactly.
That's not
part
bad.
of my point. I actually hide treats in our Christmas tree for Jack to find beyond a candy cane. So there'll be like little Christmas candies and stuff, little treats, little Snickers bars, and
My mom would always hide presents in the tree.
oh,
It was always the expensive one. It was the
Right.
jewelry. Yeah.
jewelry in the tree.
Because that's what you need to give a 12-year-old.
Totally one more way to decorate your Christmas tree.
small box. Now, if you really want to win me over, chapstick. Chapstick can go in that Christmas tree. So, Thomas Edison, many of you know him to be slightly associated with the light bulb.
What?
But one of his BBFs apparently hitched onto his wagon and came up with the first Christmas lights. So, thank you so much, BBF of Edison.
Yeah, I mean, we could stop adding fire to our Christmas trees. Way to go,
I don't know.
guys.
Now we're having like the electricity and the. I mean, I wonder how many.
Just a different way. I don't know. Did it get worse? I'm curious. I need some data. I don't know.
I mean, like I said, my last episode, there was lots of fires started. There's always lots of fires started from
Right,
Christmas lights
absolutely.
and from trees and stuff. But in Mexico, they really dig the nativity scene, and then sometimes a Christmas tree may be incorporated into their nativity scene, or somewhere else, you know, could be modernized. There's lots of very modern, I'm just talking old school traditions here, and everyone does something super different, which I think is cool. Christmas falls during the summer in Brazil. So sometimes their pine trees are decorated with little pieces of cotton so that it looks like snow.
I absolutely love that.
Yeah.
Australia and New Zealand also celebrate in the summer.
The New Zealand Christmas tree is that really, really pink, pretty, weird guy, and that's what they use. Or a traditional, like, artificial tree. Or
It's a really fun tradition, so I would see why societies would continue it.
I love it.
Yeah.
I have holiday trees. Why does it have to be just Christmas?
Same.
That's rude to discriminate. So
Same.
I have holiday trees. Hey, Cece,
Yeah,
did you know that in Greenland it's like super icy?
it is.
It is.
Strangely enough.
Yeah. So they don't have a lot of native forests. So most of their Christmas trees are imported. They are decorated with candles and bright ornaments, and many families decorate their trees on Little Christmas Eve, which is December 23rd. I thought that was the cutest. Little Eve. Oh, this one I put in for you. God, I vomited a little bit in my mouth. So this one is just
you?
for you.
Aww.
In Norway, there is a ritual known as circling the Christmas tree, and everyone joins hands to form a ring around the tree and then walks around it singing carols, all Whoville style.
I was just gonna say, that sounds very pagan or Whoville. Could go either way. I love that. It just paints a very wholesome Christmas picture in my heart, Shanna.
Caroling for me is rough. Holding hands is
Yeah.
even worse. Putting them both together, and I am an uncomfortable turkey.
You know, yeah, I guess I generally just break out into song pretty randomly in my life anyways.
No, I'm cool with singing, but I think caroling's weird.
I think going to people's doors and caroling is weird.
Yeah, that's weird. Bursting into song is perfectly acceptable. Musics, I'm on the fence about, or musicals, I'm on the fence about.
Correct.
But
But straight up
caroling
showing up at a rando.
Showing in costume. I love these stupid Hallmark movies and Christmas movies where all these carolers show up in period costume. Singing? If someone showed up on my door, I don't know what I'd do.
I'm curious as to if this actually really happens.
No, I don't think
In the
only,
world.
Only in California. Only on the movie lots.
I don't know. Right? It seems like this can't be true. This can't really happen.
So when I was younger, I did Girl Scouts many, many years, and we would go caroling in nursing homes and retirement homes.
See, that could make sense.
Right, like that's a thing, or like those little baby concert. We only did caroling because most of the people couldn't like leave their beds or rooms, so we just walked up and down the halls, kind of singing, so everyone could be part of it, or had little shows in their little dining rooms and stuff. So that's little kids singing. It's kind of obligatory.
That sounds fine to me, and it would be something that like they were all prepared for it. They all know that kids are going to be coming and caroling.
Hey, Cece.
Yeah.
Secular Christmas, as you said, is everywhere and is celebrated by a lot of non-Christian humans around the world, and some of them happen to be in Japan, so they're very secular. It's not real religious over there, and it's so cute. It says that they take this holiday and they devote it to the love of their children.
Oh.
Christmas trees are decorated with small toys, dolls, paper ornaments, gold paper fans, and lanterns and wind chimes.
Oh, that sounds so pretty.
Yeah, so I thought that was really cool. They just embraced, they took what they want and left the rest, as we do, as you should. And it's beautiful, and they took their love of their children. I thought that was really cool.
It's one of the things that I think is the coolest. The heart of it is all the same culturally.
Right.
No matter where you are.
The love of our family, love of
Yeah.
children, love of tradition, no matter what it is.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And a time of gift giving and
Feasting and coming together.
and sharing the
Yeah.
wealth that you have with
Yeah.
those around you, which I think is really important, especially since the winter season, especially in some cultures, is really hard.
I don't know, one a big thing for me is like the potluck style.
Yeah.
That everyone contributes, everyone comes together and brings something to all share, and we all get a piece of everything.
I think it's magic. Christmas magic. God bless everyone. What movie is that from? I can never remember.
Oh my God, it's a Christmas Carol. It's Tiny
Is
Tim.
it Tiny Tim?
I
Jesus.
can't ever remember. The only reason why I know
bad.
this is because I've gone down Christmas Carol rabbit holes, and the Muppets Christmas Carol is one of my ab-fabs.
Yeah, I think that needs to get thrown on pretty soon with me and Jack.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites. But there's a million renditions out there. But it's a good story.
Yeah.
Watch the Muppets if you're going to do any of them. Gonzo and Rizzo steal the show.
Agree. It is the best. And Jack is finally able to sit down and just get through. So that is Christmas trees.
Yeah, we're just going to move on. Yay, Christmas trees.
Go Christmas trees.
They're the best. We love them all.
Were we really chatting about nativity?
Yeah, dude, this isn't a chat. This is some stuff, because I'm a historian. This is the story. The birth of Jesus.
I'm here for it. The birth of sweet baby Jesus.
Okay. So we're just going to give some real quick generic hit it and quit it. Here we go. Birth of Jesus was somewhere between the year 4 and 6. And they base this off of the death of Herod the Great. So he was the king of Judea during the time that they said that Jesus was born.
Okay.
That's why they think it is somewhere between 4 and 6 of the Common Era. There are 2 accounts of the pregnancy story. One says that Joseph found out his fiancée was pregnant and he was not going to marry her. Then an angel appeared to him in his dreams and said, "It's cool. It's the Son of God, and you should name him Jesus." In another version, the angel appeared to Mary, told her it was cool, he was a son of God, and you should name him Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
So, both accounts say that Caesar Augustus wanted to take a great census of his huge Roman Empire, and it is important that Jesus was supposed to be born in Bethlehem, okay? Because this was the birthplace of Joseph, his dad, and Joseph was from the line of David. This is important because that means that Jesus would be the son of David and a king of kings. Okay, so this is a prophecy that was well known during this time, and they were trying to stack the deck to make this infant be this prophecy, fulfill this prophecy.
Interesting. Okay.
So they go to Bethlehem. They have a baby in a manger, as there's no rooms available. The king knows of this prophecy. He's told of this prophecy, and that the prophecy is basically that this baby is going to grow up and he's going to be the king of Jews. And he's like, well, that's stupid. The Jews can't have, that's not okay. Right.
Historically, things were slapped out of their hands,
right,
amongst other horrific, horrible things. Okay.
So we say 3 wise men. They're called magi. Magicians, scholars, clerics. These learned men came to the king and they're like, we heard that this baby was born. We're going to go try to find him. Do you know where it is? And so he's like, I heard that it's in Bethlehem. You should go get the lowdown of the situation. Let me know if this is like the God or whatever, and then come back and tell me. And they're like, cool, we're going to do that. Okay. It takes the Magi 12 days to travel to Bethlehem. This is the 12 days of Christmas. After, not before. And that is why it is Epiphany, or 3 Kings Day, is
Right.
January 6th.
Because they are traveling after his birth.
They heard he was going to be born. Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. The 12th night is January 5th, Epiphany Eve. All right? We talked about Twelfth Night. All right, so the earliest reference to Epiphany is found in a reference to a Christian feast held in 361. So 361 years after the birth of Christ is when we started.
Right.
So
like some 360 years after
is when it's really starting to get
when
established as a tradition.
As a tradition.
Epiphany, a day, a thing. Right.
Right. That this story has progressed so far that people are starting to celebrate.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the three wise men have been thought to be anything from astrologers, foreign kings. No one knows their exact rank or station, even how many. Some have said a large group. They're really just listed as three to align with the three gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. It's just a very pretty marketing thing wrapped up with a nice, pretty bow.
Right. It becomes the story.
The story. Right.
Because
so the
it's
truth.
Easier to.
Right. The truth probably has lots of interesting bites, but the story is smoothed out. To make it palatable.
I like that.
Yeah.
A bit of a beige color.
So everyone can take it. So as we all know, the three wise men, they find the bebe, they give the bebe worship and weird presents that a bebe, why would a bebe want myrrh? But
I don't know.
There we go. He needs a diaper and some milk. And they're about to go back and tell the king, yeah, the baby's here. He's the son of God. Like, this is what it is. But then an angel appears to them and says, do not tell Herod that you found the baby. And they're like, okay. So then instead of going home that way, they went the long way home and they just avoided the king completely. Herod finds out and he is pissed. So he issues what is called the Massacre of the Innocents. Okay, this is real. He orders all of the little bebe boys under the age of 2 in Bethlehem and all of its surrounding vicinity to be murdered. Okay, so
because there's a prophecy
that
little baby Jesus was born.
That the baby that would grow up to one day be the man to rule and be the King of Kings,
right,
was just born. And you need to stop this from happening.
Terrible.
So he goes out and has his soldiers murder hundreds.
That's just the saddest.
Of infant baby boys.
Not uncommon.
Right.
To happen to infants born
around Christmas. Yeah.
Around Christmas. Well, I mean,
they're
some
thought to be
really,
werewolves.
Really
they're thought to have
traditions, but
maybe because of this, associated with this massacre of the innocents, you just don't want to be associated with a birth around there. But this is everyone under 2, not just born at that time. This is under the age of 2, just to hedge his bets.
Can you imagine the impacts on a society like with that 2-year gap?
Right, on their population.
On the population.
Yeah.
Like that.
It'd be an interesting study that we would not be able. You'd have to have massive population studies and stuff, but that's interesting.
I know, right? What an experience.
Yeah. Okay, so hearing this young family, this young new mother and father, they either flee to Egypt until the death of Herod, and then they go and settle in Nazarene, or B, they hide out just for a little bit and then go straight to Nazarene, because then that's where the story picks up. So that is, without a lot of religious stuff and just trying to keep some facts, that is the nativity story.
Interesting.
You also were like, what the dealio is with Boxing Day? What is this?
Yeah, no. Let's chat about Boxing Day.
Yeah.
I'm curious about that.
So Boxing Day is December 26th. This is the day after Christmas. This is the European tradition of giving money and other gifts to those in need or in service positions. All right. And this is going all the way back to the Middle Ages. They think it might be referred to like Boxing Day because of the alms box that was placed outside of a church. Like you go and you give alms to the poor by putting it in the box. So maybe that's why it's called Boxing Day.
Oh, okay.
In Britain, 1743, they started calling officially the day after Christmas is Boxing Day. And this is traditionally the day that tradespeople and employees and servants would receive presents or gratuities, like a Christmas box, a little present. And this is from either their customers or their bosses. All right. This is linked to an even older tradition where the servants of the wealthy were normally allowed to visit their own families the day after Christmas because they had to be there on Christmas Day serving the big feast, the big party, whatever. They were definitely working. And then often they would get to take like little leftover parcels from the feast before home to their family. So that's their little Christmas bonuses. I think in Downton, Mary gives her maid like enough fabric to make a dress. Mm-hmm. Things like that.
Yeah.
Not a dress, but you make your own dress.
Yeah.
I'm not going to give you a dress. You need I help those who help themselves.
I help those who help themselves.
I threw this in here because this is my husband's favorite holiday symbol, association, whatever. And that is the Nutcracker. Mm-hmm. This is a hinged lever, often called a pair of nutcrackers, and it dates all the way back to ancient Greece, so I like that. By the 14th century in Europe, nutcrackers were documented in England. You see them in things like in the Canterbury Tales. In France, they have the lever design is probably from a blacksmith's pincers. It is often made of silver, iron, bronze, or wood, and sometimes in the form of people and animals. Doesn't everybody feel so much better that they know all of that about a nutcracker now?
I kinda do. I mean, then you talk about like the Nutcracker. That is one of the biggest plays, like Christmas time. Like it just screams Christmas.
It does, and it's a huge tradition that people go and read it or watch it or whatever. So this was actually a fairy tale written in 1816 in which young Marie, her favorite Christmas toy is the Nutcracker. He comes alive, he defeats the evil Mouse King in battle, and then whisks her away to a magical kingdom populated by dolls. This story was originally published in Berlin as a collection of children's stories, and it wasn't until 1892 when they decided to make it into like a ballet. It premiered in Russia and was a huge flop when it first came out.
Which I could kind of see, like the rat.
It's weird. Yeah, it jumps back and forth. They thought the same thing. They thought that it was confusing. One cannot understand anything. Disorderly pushing about from corner to corner and running backwards and forwards. Quite amateurish.
It was the chaos of war on stage. I mean, it was great.
All to music.
But, it was. It was awesome.
Yeah, it eventually caught on, and as we all know, it is a very popular tradition. Hey, Cece.
Yeah.
What's really fun when I'm doing my research is sometimes, there's lots of different results that pop up. Mm-hmm. And
I could imagine.
I find things like that interesting. Like a fun fact.
Okay.
Did you know that there is a syndrome called the Nutcracker syndrome? All right, this is a lot of big words, okay?
Okay.
We're going to focus here. All right. This is the compression of the left renal vein between the abdominal aorta, the compression of one of them. All right. So the name derives from the fact that the aorta and the mesenteric artery appear to be a nutcracker crushing a nut, which is the renal vein.
Ooh. That's brutal. So they call it the Nutcracker syndrome.
They do.
I bet the guy that got to name that had a sense of humor.
I think we should have a poll. What part of your body do you think the Nutcracker syndrome afflicts?
Ooh, yeah.
And let's see what people
pre-episode watch
come up with. Yeah. The Nutcracker cocktail came up also, and I was like, what is that? And this was apparently invented way, way, way back when in 1993 by a guy named Jose Chu, who was a restaurant manager, and Juice, a drug dealer. They named...
What up, Juice?
Drug dealer Juice demanded that it is called the Nutcracker because there happened to be an ad on the TV at the time for the New York City Ballet's The Nutcracker. Apparently, this drink consists of Bacardi 151, Southern Comfort, amaretto, pineapple juice, grenadine, and Rose's sour lime, and it is described as strong, syrupy, sweet, and tart. They are mainly sold during the summer on the streets, on the beaches, and they come in small cups or little plastic bottles. These are copyrighted. Trying to make or sell these is an infringement, as I have discovered, and that is why we know that Juice and Jose Chu
are the inventors of the
Nutcrackers.
Way to go, guys. Way to double down and get it off of your drink. I love that.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound very nice, though. Strong, syrupy, and sweet. And
Yeah.
tart. I don't know. I don't really appreciate
151.
that. I like light, crisp alcohol. That's definitely my
subtle.
vibe.
Yeah.
Sweet, but syrupy.
Canary Islands off of Spain, New Year's Eve. They have a really fun tradition that you must eat 12 grapes at midnight for good luck in the upcoming year. So you eat one grape on each strike of the clock.
I love that. But do they have grapes?
Yeah, it's Spain.
Spain, I guess. Yeah. Nice.
They're like
nice weather.
Yeah. Spain and Italy created grapes.
That is fair. I didn't know that about Spain. Italy,
they're
call
right
it out,
above. So yeah,
that
they
does
got
make
it.
sense. I guess regionally they probably do make some pretty bomb wine.
So this is a little after Christmas, but still in the holiday season. I'm gonna let you say that Russian word.
Sviatki.
Sviatki.
Going Sviatki. Russia.
All right. It's not a place. It is a thing. It is
okay. So
something they celebrate in
Sviatki,
Russia. They celebrate it in Russia. I'm sorry, folks. We've been talking for a long time. Going down our trivia rabbit holes.
Is celebrated in Russia.
Yes, from January 7th through January 19th. This is a time when dead ancestors would return to the living.
Oh.
You would hold major feasts, and you would not clear your tables just in case a spirit would want to swing by for a bite. Sometimes they would hold mock funerals as a welcome. They would dress a little boy up in white, powder his face in flour, and then put false teeth made out of vegetables, like turnips, and then he would try to welcome the ghost. And then someone would dress as a priest, and they would burn manure instead of incense.
That's an interesting choice.
Yeah.
Manure.
That's how you welcome the spirits.
Interesting. I really like the false teeth made of vegetables and turnips. That sounds ridiculous.
I do too. I thought that was super cool. I was like, are they flouring the face so that he looks like a ghost?
Yeah, that's like a ghoul or something.
And with the teeth. Yeah, I love it.
The teeth is fun. That sounds like a good tradition. I love that. But we see that. I love that. We're not that different, guys. We're really not.
I like that maybe this came as an excuse to not clean off their table because they didn't want to get up and do it. So now we're going to leave it out for the dead ancestors to eat. It's just a reason to not clean up.
But only for 2 weeks in January.
Is that every
night?
You get
your reprieve. Major feasts. So maybe there was just,
Yeah, maybe not every meal, just the feast meals. That makes more sense too.
Different ones.
Yeah.
But I love that.
They have
they
food
leave it
out all the time. That would make sense.
Yeah.
It's wasteful.
I'm not sure where that tradition comes from, but putting a place setting at the table.
Right.
Things like that. Gives that vibe. I dig it.
Hey, Cece.
I am really excited about this one. Are we talking about snowmen?
Do you know why I'm excited about this? Because this is the last topic of our extravaganza for this episode. Our 17-hour episode is going to end with snowmen because it's another kind of iconic image of Christmas and the holidays. There really isn't a clear origin story. All right, so it just sort of pops up. But apparently this dude, Bob Eckstein, he is the author of The History of the Snowman. And he went all the way down every single rabbit hole and he found the earliest documentation of snowmen.
I love this. Eckstein, thank you for doing the dirty work.
He did. He put the work in and you're not going to believe where he found the first documentation of a snowman.
I don't. Where is it? I'm terrified.
Okay, so he found it in a Christian prayer book from 1380.
Okay.
that had illustrations in the margins that were extremely anti-Semitic. And he found this prayer book in The Hague
So he finds this prayer book that somebody had
from the 1380s.
back in the 1380s, and at some point between when he got it and when it was written, someone was just writing some graffiti-ish.
Apparently in 1494, snowmen popped back up in the recorded history books when Piero de' Medici, as we're all kind of familiar with the Medici family, he asked Michelangelo to paint him one.
So Michelangelo?
Yeah, Michelangelo was commissioned to paint a snowman in 1494.
That's fucking weird.
The-
In his little painting.
The earliest known photograph of a snowman was taken around 1853.
Okay. So, I mean, humans had been creating this. We don't really know, like, the creation, but as far as, like, documentation of, like, us recording the fact that we are seeing this in life.
Right. That's all historians can do.
Yeah.
Is see where we see it in the documentations through history.
Right.
So apparently in 1511,
I love that. That's crazy. So 1511.
in the city of Brussels, okay? So they were having a hard time. All right. Their citizens were hungry. They were poor. So what do you do to make your people feel better? You throw them a party, right? So they held a snowman festival. But instead of everyone coming together and building snowmen together like it was thought, the people built pornographic sculptures throughout the city.
That's what happens when you put a group of people with a group of people. We just people all over.
We sure do. And I just love bringing you all the in-depth facts, folks. And
I love
this one I hope you take with you for all your lives. A snow sculpture of a woman is called a snow woman.
I feel like a man explained that sentence into existence.
I thought this one was really cool and it looks pretty. It's called a Yuki cone, and this is the Japanese word for snow. This involves building a small cone-shaped structure from snowballs, illuminated from the inside with little lights. So I thought that would be really pretty, like a little snowball thing and then a light on the inside.
And then it would glow and illuminate. It'd be so beautiful.
Yeah.
I've seen igloos glowing from the inside, and it's just
they are pretty.
beautiful. So I could imagine that was the same vibe. It'd be so pretty.
So the first documentation instance of snowmen in North America. And I am going to probably take this fun fact with me just to the grave. I love it. And it just defines Americans, even from our origin story. Okay. And this is really another rabbit hole that, I went down this for a while. It was really fascinating. I really loved the very first stories of our nation, and we need to really know our true history and not the cartoon versions that we're all really exposed to and think that that's all we have. So this was really fun to broaden my horizons.
Heck yeah.
So we know about snowmen because in 1690 there was the Schenectady Massacre. Dun, dun, dun. Schenectady. It's so fun to say. This is a Mohawk or a Native American word meaning beyond the pines.
Ooh,
all right.
beautiful.
So right before this instance, there's this rebellion between two political parties during the Beaver Wars. All right. It's a very big thing. English, French, look it up. The Schenectady Massacre was an interesting thing, so go learn about it. Okay. They were really uncooperative after this little battle in this incident, and they would not decide on official watches and patrols. Okay, who's going to secure the village? Who has the North Gate? Your job, my job. I want it. You can't have it. They kept fighting and squabbling.
Right.
Okay, so over a period of time, the guards on the North Gate realized that no one's really holding them accountable. So they begin to build these men out of snow, put them as sentries on this gate, and they sneak out and go have a drink. So
That sounds like a very American thing to do.
it does. And so all of a sudden, their enemies start noticing that the North Gate on Wednesdays or whatever, this is happening.
So they just keep doing this? This isn't
Right. So they realize that
gosh.
this is a pattern.
Okay.
That's when they attacked. So the first instances of snowmen are men dressed as snow so guards could go out to the pub for a drink. And that, my fine friends, is the very last Christmas trivia fact that I have for you
Yum.
at this time.
Don't put a snowman in to do your dirty work, guys. Does not work out.
So if that doesn't just define America, I don't know what does. And with that, I hope that you guys have at least a few conversation starters when you are with your family this holiday season. Maybe you've learned something. Maybe you take a tradition or two home and try it out yourself.
Heck yeah.
Thank you so much for hanging with us through all of this. And happy, safe holidays from us at Histories Uncharted.